like a release date for The Last of Us, I was gonna play the first one into the second one. So it did work out because I think I finished the DLC like the Tuesday before it came out. So I was able to jump right in that Thursday night. And I didn't really want to do a late night stream, but I did for like a couple of hours. But yeah, I feel like it makes that attachment to Joel even worse when you go straight in.
Yeah.
All right, so we're live on YouTube right now.
We are?
Yeah.
I just saw the notification.
Okay.
Just make sure everything is straight. You know what I'm saying? Y'all sound great. I mean, it looks good. So
all
right.
You know,
I got the chat right here. I'm popped out. I'm gonna pop out the chat. That way I ain't got two windows up. So I'm looking at the right camera.
I'm about to pop it out myself.
Okay. Because I tend to, when I have a stream up, I tend to look at the stream and not be looking at the when we talking. So I'll be like looking at the side. So I'm a Jay Lenz, Harmjot Garan, PJ.
This is actually gonna be like my first YouTube stream. I've never streamed on YouTube.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It's pretty much the same as Twitch. It's just it's pretty much the same as Twitch, except for you don't have the little notifications and stuff that Twitch can do. That's the only thing that's different. Well, I think you can do it on YouTube too if you use like Streamlabs. But if you just do like a straight live stream, then it's just a broadcast. But it's cool. I used to do it before I started working best with Twitch. Cool, Chris. What's good?
What up, Cool Chris? What's good? What up? Yeah, I'm kind of like tweeting everything out, putting everything on Instagram and all that stuff right now, so folks will know that we are live. All right, cool.
I actually should. Let me take the link and post the link myself.
Yeah. I'll open up Final Cut. What you doing?
You opening up Final Cut?
No, because my Chrome is right next to my Final Cut icon. I hit the wrong one.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't down there. Okay, hold on. Easy. And then live right now talking about last. And I think we can go ahead and get started.
All right.
Man, oh man. Man. Let me see. Is it in the Discord? Let me see. I think people definitely think we.
All right. I just saw your tweet, so I'm
retweeting
it. And like post this.
Just madness or magic.
Or magic 11.
Snap.
Hey guys.
What's going
up,
on,
y'all?
y'all?
What's up?
What's having a good Saturday.
What's good? Okay. Hold on. I finished promoting it, letting people know we about to get this thing going.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We about to get this. Let me retweet it on the Dead End Hip Hop too. Yeah, they got the most followers.
Thank you, Don.
Bam. All right. So we here. We are finally here. We're live. This is no editing, no nothing. We're just live. Myself,
real rap raw.
Right, real rap raw. Myself, Granddad Willie, and the lovely Majestic up in here. We're gonna talk about The Last of Us Part 2. Like this is it. This is what me and Granddad has been waiting for the longest. And Majestic, she's actually new to The Last of Us universe. You know, like me and Granddad, we the OGs. You know,
we deep in this joint.
Well, let me say this. I found out about the game when it first came out, but I never finished it. I watched someone play the end of it, but they didn't know they were about to finish the game. They were like, oh yeah, I just got this new game. It's great. Literally finished the game in front of me. I started playing it, and then I saw that first scene in the first game with Sarah, and I was like, I don't want to play this no more, but I kept playing. But it wasn't until, and I started the game a couple of times, but like just life kind of stop me from finishing it, but I finished it for the first time last year. I played the remaster for PlayStation 4 and I finally beat it.
Okay. So you somewhat of an OG. And I thought when you were streaming it, when I was catching your streams, the times that I caught your streams playing the first one, I thought like this was your very first time just all in the Last of Us game. So I was like, oh man, she's playing them all the way straight through, right into the second one. So that's interesting that you really finished these games back to back. Like where me and Granddad, we played them.
Yeah, we played them when they first dropped.
We just been waiting there.
We've been waiting on the corner. Like, come on, baby, give me that.
And then all these like the delays and pushing back the release dates and stuff that had me and Granddad very nervous. Yes, and then came all the hoopla about the negative reviews that it was getting, and the story leaked and all that stuff. Me and Granddad was staying far away from all that stuff as possible.
Everything.
We just want to play the game and just get our natural reactions and our natural feels for this game. So I mean, I guess just start off. I'm just gonna ask both of y'all. What did y'all think of the game? Did you enjoy the game? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Whatever. Did you thumbs up or thumbs down for Last of Us 2?
Granddad, I'll let you go first because you finished it last. So it's probably the freshest.
Wow.
I didn't even mean it like that. I meant like
I took my time. I took my time. Okay.
I meant it's the freshest in
I did it for the people.
I
did it for the people.
You were I think I only beat like 1 or 2 days before you. So it wasn't even that much of a difference. I just meant it's fresh in your mind.
It's all good. So overall, now a couple of days removed after beating it and really sitting with it and thinking about it, it's a thumbs up game for me. I really enjoyed it a lot. There are some things that we'll touch on deeper into the conversation, but overall, I am happy and pleased overall with what I got with the game. Especially, I went in very worried. I've been very, sort of like apprehensive because of what was going on with it and what was being said about it. But from the beginning to the end, once I finished the game, overall, I was like, okay, you got it. You got me. You did what you needed to do for your boy. So that's all. That's how I felt with that. How about you?
What about you?
I loved it. I think there was only one part that kind of dragged out for me, and that was kind of towards the end because it was just kind of like I felt like, okay, this section is here, but like we didn't have enough time to really like get into a whole new set of characters and what their issue is. But other than that, I loved it. I liked it from the beginning because I felt like I think where a lot of people got mad and a lot of people stopped, that's what piqued my interest because I was like, okay, well, like I have emotions, but I need to figure out why, and I'm gonna keep playing until I get my answer.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I fucked with this game big time. Like when I played it, as I'm playing this, I kept waiting. Like, okay, so what's gonna be the part that I'm not gonna like, or what's gonna be a part that about the game that I'm not gonna like? And I'm playing it. I'm like the game. I love the melee. I actually like the melee better on this one than the first one. So like I'm still playing, and I'm like, okay, what is people talking about? Like, I'm still loving this game. People's asking me like, yo, B, how you liking it? I'm like, look, I'm still loving it. I don't know what the heck, I'm like, well, maybe. And then as I'm playing, I'm like, well, maybe once I get to the end, I'm gonna hate it or something. And once I finished it and it was over, I was like, this game was fucking amazing. Like, I love this game. So I didn't understand what people were complaining about or whining about. I thought the game was very fun. It was very stressful. Very stressful.
Yeah.
Kept all the time. Yeah, I mean, it was moments on there. It was much more intense than moments in the first one. So I don't know. I enjoyed the game a lot. So yeah, I really do. I guess to go into it, I mean, the whole Abby situation, to be honest with you, I actually have fun playing the Abby side of the story than I did the Ellie side. I feel like
that's what Abby, BZ. That's what
a lot of people said. A lot of people were like, it's more fun to play as Abby. I don't know if I personally felt one side was more fun. I think I liked playing as Ellie more because she had a knife. I didn't have to worry about making shivs. I didn't have to worry about, can I beat these clickers? Like, at the end of the day, we were going to kill everybody because we had a knife. And I think that's what I liked, that when they had Ellie in the DLC. I think that's the only thing that, like, honestly, I think that's the only thing that, like, sways me more to Ellie than Abby, but I don't feel like I really felt a difference between playing the different characters.
I feel you. I just feel like Abby, you had a lot more tougher challenges ahead of you. Yeah. You fought some crazy bosses.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point.
Like, I just feel like everything. Yeah, I mean, the fact that you had to craft your little knives, I thought added another element of like, okay, this is tough. Like playing with Abby, not only she's swole, but like this is tough. And it was a lot of moments where you had to play with Abby. You had to be like by yourself, besides Lev being with you. But it was moments where you had to go off by yourself. And I'm like, man, Abby is a tough cookie. So I definitely have fun playing the Abby side, leading up to event that happened. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. Ellie definitely was. I feel like Ellie had, I ain't really say better guns.
Nah,
maybe
Abby had way better guns, fam. Way better.
Yeah, Abby had scopes.
I don't know,
Scope. She had incendiary shotguns. She had a crossbow.
Yeah. That's true. When I had to go back and play as Ellie again, and I didn't have a crossbow, I had a regular bow. I was like, whoa, where's my crossbow? Because my crossbow had a scope on it. Yeah. Everything had a scope.
Yeah, Abby was definitely more fun. Yeah, now that I'm thinking, she did have the better guns. Yeah. Ellie, only thing Ellie had was the great takedown weapon, the stealth weapon. Because it was times with Abby where I was thinking I was gonna stealth, and I'm like, oh damn it, I don't got no damn knives. So I had to like.
Yep, exactly. That's the only thing that sways me to Ellie. And I didn't. It was one of those things I realized when I played the DLC. I was like, dang, like, why can't Joel just have a knife? And I feel like the whole purpose of Abby, as far as like gameplay wise, was Abby was our Joel replacement. She was more combat heavy, but she had Joel's equipment, Joel's kind of stance with the brutal kills. Like she was our Joel for this game, essentially, at least in my mind.
No, I agree with that. And it was a good contrast between Ellie and Abby, which is what I like, because when you're playing with Ellie and you're playing with Abby, you can feel the difference playing with both of them. It's not like, okay, well, this is just another character you're playing with. Like they purposely made them different, which is what I like. Like playing with Abby, I agree with y'all. Like the melee in here is so fun, especially with Abby. Like when you got to knock somebody out with Abby, you feel the power behind her.
That's true, because she had those powerful kicks. There was like a couple of times she just kicked a zombie in the chest, and I'm like, well, dang, like that's all we have to do. We're just kicking them. Okay, that's fine.
Right, and when you got to go actually fight somebody who's like big and tough, it's like you get hyped for it because she about to throw them hands, and the combat system is just so intuitive. I love the dodging mechanics that they got in there.
That made a difference.
It just made, and then you really get immersed in these fights. And when someone gets hit, it's like you can see the brutality just coming out with every swing, whether it's a broken nose or the blood's coming out somewhere, or if they get cut or whatever it is. It's like you really feel immersed in these fight scenes in the melee part of this game, which I thought they did a phenomenal job with, and they really improved from the first game. Weaponry wise too, it's like the weapons, I feel like they hit. When you got a shotgun, you got a shotgun. When you got a flamethrower, you got a flamethrower, or you got a bomb or whatever it is. The impact of these weapons really do show, and I really think they did a good job, not only with what weapons they use for both characters, but how the characters utilize the weapons. The workbench crafting is great animating with that. I love using the workbench. And also just I feel like in this game with the ammo, they don't give you too much, but they don't give you not enough. I think they did a good balance with the ammo, because like there was never a point where I felt like I had too much ammo, but there was never a point where I felt like, well, there were some points here and there where I felt like, oh, I might run out, but I always had a backup plan with they gave you enough variety with the weapons. They gave you like 2 handguns, a rifle, a shotgun, a crossbow, and then you still had the melee weapons. You still had the pipe bombs or the Molotovs, so you had a way to kill. There was never not a way for you to kill, and if all else failed, you could throw them hands. So I like the variety of being able to kill and take down the infected as well as just the regular enemies. So I think they did a good job with that for sure.
Yeah, I love the fact that Abby had, when I saw she picked up the crossbow, I was like, oh, she got the Daryl. She got the Daryl from Walking Dead. Like
that's what a lot of people say.
Daryl from Walking Dead. I'm like, oh shit, I got my Daryl with me now. I can just go ahead and then headshot someone, get my damn arrows back. Like, yeah, man, that shit was dope.
There was a point towards the end I gave literally every gun that could have a scope had a scope. And I think there was like everybody got a headshot and we did one bullet. It was whatever that little that one shot. It was a one shot like handgun. I put a scope on that. Everyone got a headshot and we moved on with our day. It was great. That made a big difference.
Was y'all kind of thrown off a little bit at the very beginning, where you like in the snow and you were Abby and you kind of like, wait a minute, who is this Abby person? Like, you know, you playing with her at the beginning, you think because I'm thinking, me personally, I'm thinking we're gonna go right into the game. Okay, Ellie, like we playing Ellie, like we gonna play. So playing with Abby, I'm like, okay, what is this? Like, what's going on here? What's the story taking a turn to? And then we see Joel, and it's like, okay, we see Joel. We see what's my man name? Tommy. And this is kind of, I'm like, okay, where they going with this? Okay. And then, you know, of course, as we playing, I'm like, are they getting ready to Metal Gear Solid 2 me? Even though I love Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, but you know how when you first play with Snake and then they give you this writing character and you're like, wait a minute, this ain't Snake. So when I was playing this, I'm like, okay, we're playing with this Abby. All right, what's this about? And then they switched to, you know, Ellie. So, you know, at first, I didn't know what they were doing. But the second that Abby killed Joel, and you know, and then it went off to us playing as Ellie, I guess, like kind of leading up to that, or like seeing what's happened before then. I was like, oh, okay, I think I know what they might be doing with this storyline, because I started projecting shit. Like as I'm playing, I'm like, okay, I think what they might be doing. And of course, once it got to Abby's side, I'm like, okay, this is what they're doing. I said, okay, so I'm here for this. So as I'm playing, I'm like, oh yeah, I like this shit right here. I like what they doing with the storyline with this one. But yeah, was y'all kind of confused, or was y'all kind of like, wait a minute, why are we playing with Abby for a second? Like, was y'all thrown off a little bit?
So I was confused. I somehow managed to avoid like all spoilers.
Exactly. Me too.
So I didn't know anything. So when we started that whole section, I was like, all right, like we got a new character, whatever. We see Tommy and Joel, and I'm like, all right, Tommy and Joel, like, right. And we're with this new character. Okay, cool. And then when she kills Joel, I was really mad because I was like, first of all, you would literally be dead without him.
Exactly.
Second of all, what was it? Oh God, I lost my train of thought. I was mad because we spent Joel's last moments playing as the character who killed him. Like that really that hurt me when he died and we went back to playing as Ellie, because I was just kind of like, I would have rather played this as Joel. But that was also me still being like really angry and not understanding what the story was going to turn into. But like that for a while, that really bothered me. I was like, why did we play? And that's why I said, I was like, I think playing straight through hit me harder, because I literally went from playing as Joel to killing Joel, and I wasn't ready for that jump. So I think like that's where my train of thought was. I was like, why did I play this as this character that killed him? Like I didn't like that.
Yeah, when you start playing with Abby, at first I was the same. I was like, who is this? And then I knocked my first motherfucker out, and I was like, okay, she all right. She all right with me. She got them hands. And because that's when the melee combat came into play, and I was like, wait a minute now, this is dope. So I was like, I don't know who she is, but you know, she all right by me for the first 5 minutes. And then Joel and Tommy show up, and we know what happens. And if you watch Twitch, you saw my reaction. Once Joel got kneecapped, everything changed. I was like, wait a minute, we took a hard left real quick. Like, what's going on? And then Joel gets taken out by Abby. And yeah, just like Majestic, I was angry because I was like, okay, first of all, why y'all kill Joel? Like, what's up with that? I didn't want to play the game no more at some point with that. I was like, I don't want to do this no more because I ain't ready for this. It's too soon. And also, why were we playing with this character who leads up to killing one of the main characters who we are so invested in already? And we got no time with Joel. Like, what's going on? What's going on here? And, you know, you go back to Ellie and you see Ellie now dealing with the situation and you're playing as her. And then when they flip back over to Abby and then they start backtracking and explaining Abby's story and where she came from and how she kind of fits into this whole thing, and things started to click, I was like, oh, okay, it makes perfect sense now why things are kind of like coming into place as they are. So at that point, you know, you kind of have different. I mean, that's what this game is about with the story. Is you start thinking or feeling certain ways about certain characters initially, but as the game progresses, your thoughts and your feelings towards characters change, or you have second thoughts about certain people. Like, wait a minute, okay, now we're kind of seeing another layer of this character that I didn't think that was possible with them, or and now we have to discuss like, well, are they really that good of a person, or should I really like this character as much as I should because they did X, Y, and Z. And I think that was what really intrigued me about this story, and Abby as well, because you initially hate Abby. You're supposed to hate Abby in the first parts of the game because of what she did. But then as you're playing her and you really dig deep into who she is and why she's doing what she's doing and the justification of it, it's hard to hate her based off what happened because of what Joel did initially to her father. So you're like, okay, she's got a reason. And on top of that, she let Ellie and Tommy live. It was just Joel. She was laser focused. It's just Joel. She's like, don't, like, Ellie ain't got nothing to do with this. Not even the brother. She let them go. And that shows her character and that how contained and how she wasn't like gonna just go on an all-out rampage. She knew what she was there for, who she was there for, to get revenge on the individual who, ruined her life and nobody else. So that just showed the type of character that she was on other levels too as you go through the game. So I think it was dope.
Yeah.
When they built it. But yeah, they did a good job trying to get you to hate her. You had to hate her first, because if you didn't, or if they told you why she did it initially, then that death with Joel wouldn't have hit the same. Because she was a complete stranger who just got helped by the person she just killed. You gonna hate her, especially because it's Joel. So
exactly. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I probably purposefully killed her about 5 times when I first started playing as her.
Really?
Yeah. Like the first set of zombies that came up, I literally held my controller up. I was like, I forgot how to play, and just let her get beat until they bit her.
Wow.
There was one, the first time it was like you're on a roof and you have to figure out how to get inside the building. And she looks down and she's like, oh, it's like a high jump. So the first time I just jumped and fell, and I genuinely didn't know that's what you weren't supposed to do. The second time I was like, you think it's gonna work a second time? You think we're gonna land this time? And I just went ahead and jumped anyway. And then I was like, third time's a charm. No, and then I actually figured out how to get down. But like, I did not want to play as her at all. I didn't want to do it at all.
One thing I will say about this game is, at first, because it was a good thing and a bad thing that they kept doing the flashbacks. It was certain, where they go back like 2 years, or go back 4 years, or go back 3 years, because it tied everything with the story from a story perspective. From a gameplay perspective, I'm like, man, all I'm doing is just looking around doing this. I'm not fighting nothing. I'm not doing
no killing.
The only time we had a flashback was when you had to fight that the big bloated.
The bloater.
The bloater with you and Joel.
Yeah.
That was like the only time where the flashback was like fun, like it was some action. But most of the flashbacks was just mainly just to connect the story. And I mean, like looking back now as I played the game, at first I didn't like them because I'm like, man, I'm sick. I'm like, damn, another flashback. I'm like, this sucks. Now I got to sit around, walking my controller around, walk around. But everything tied and it made sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, who would have thought that we had killed Abby's father at the end of Last of Us Part 1 when we bust in their room and Ellie laying on the table and he was like, don't shoot, and you just be like, wow, you just pop him right in the head and all that. Like, who would have thought? So it's dope how they made all that connect. And it's like, okay, I don't, like you said, Granddad, I'm like, I don't really feel too bad playing with Abby now. It's like I kind of get it. Like, it's like I get it. Yeah.
And I think that was all intentional because they knew that Abby was going to be, of course, the secondary main character of the story. So they had to have you feel something for her out the gate. You had to feel something about this character. If you felt nothing about Abby out the gate, it would have not worked at all. So they said the easiest way to do it is for you to hate her, because like it's kind of like a little bit of Kev was here, but it's like in a pro wrestling, like when you come in and you're the most hated character, like you start off hated. But as you develop, it's hard to hate this character because this character just does so many dope things, or you start to see their justifications. And then slowly but surely that turn happens. And then you start being like, okay, I get it now. I messed with them. And they got every right to be the person that they are in a way. So with this game, I just really, and even with the flashbacks, because I felt that way with you too. Be like, okay, I gotta do a flashback. I gotta go to the museum with Joel and spend Ellie's birthday at the museum looking at shit that I don't want, stuff like that. But when you look at it from the bigger picture, all these things are so interweaved and interconnected, and they just show, the bond between so many characters and just how things happen. It really does, at the end of the day, show great storytelling just consistently throughout the game, which is what I can appreciate, because it's like they could have left, and there's some things they probably could have did better here and there, but overall, the way that they just interconnected certain small little things, like from the names of a certain dog that this dog is, a dog you killed as Ellie, but you see that you bonding with the dog with Abby, and you kind of feel certain ways. It's like, oh, I killed, and other stuff like that. So, or you see the characters when you kill Joel, like Manny and Mel and Owen, and initially you hate them just as much as you hate Abby, but then you kind of see, all these other characters in their natural way of life, and you grow to see how they really are as a person. And based on the situation that happened with Joel, you can see why they're all there to help Abby, because they see what Abby went through, and because they ride for Abby, they're gonna help her get the revenge that she feels like she deserves. So everybody has their own justifications, but initially you either hate somebody or you like somebody, and then it gets muddy as you get through the game. It gets more and more muddy, which is a very interesting way to take the game, which I did kind of like.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
If you're about to say, because I was about to ask y'all a question, so go ahead and go with your first suggestion.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I actually liked the flashbacks because I felt like that gave me some Joel back. Like that was some Joel time.
That was a cheat code. That was kind of a cheat code, actually.
That was like yeah. It was like when the first one happened, I almost cried. I was just like, oh no, like we have a moment with Joel. Yeah. For Abby, I liked getting that background. What I really wanted to know was like why her and Owen broke up, because we never see that. Like we see them together and then we see him with pregnant Mel, so it's just kind of like that's the one flashback I wanted the whole time. I was like, how did y'all break up? And we never got it. But as far as the Ellie flashbacks, I really liked them. And then I liked the link between the two sides of the story. Like once Abby's side started, we already knew where Abby's side was going to end. It was going to end in front of the theater shooting Jesse. We already knew that. So I liked seeing how close the characters were, or how close the stories were. Like seeing Nora at the hospital before Ellie got there, seeing the interactions with the dogs. Cause I think the first one you interact with is Bear. And I remember them yelling like, oh no, Bear, like when we killed one of the dogs. So that was kind of a moment I was like, wow, like that's really cool. Like y'all actually took the time to establish these characters that we just didn't think anything about in the first half of the game and kind of make them into something. So yeah, like I knew once I got to Seattle day 3, I was like, okay, like we know how this is going to end. Like Abby's got to go back to the aquarium. Yep. Everyone's going to be dead.
Yep.
How is she going to get to the how is she going to get to the theater after that? Yep. So I agree. It was really good storytelling. It was really well. Everything was woven really well, and it's woven so tight, but you don't see that until you finish like the first like really big, I would call it like the first big chunk before that time jump at the end. Like you really don't see that until you get there.
I was going to ask y'all too, what y'all think about how they played out the whole Ellie and Joel, like, kind of like beefing situation when they didn't speak for years, and kind of like wondering why they wasn't speaking for years, and just how they like kind of falling out, even though they still, like, you can tell they still cared and loved each other and stuff. They were, but it was just like they're falling out, and like seeing them, how those flashbacks, how we get to see how it was all good, like what you say, Majestic, like, yeah, you get to see Joel, like to see all of them in their happy moments, till we get to this moment where Ellie hadn't spoke to Joel for like years, and then we come to find out based off the flashback, and it kind of like puts things more into perspective. So do the flashback, is that cool that we get to see like Ellie and Joel have they like little beef differences, and then we kind of see how it kind of ties together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that, it's like that's another part of the game. So actually, if you think about at the very ending of the first game, when Ellie's in the car and Joel's driving, and they have the conversation, and you can kind of see in Ellie's face that she kind of don't believe Joel, but she didn't question it. And when the first time I saw that, I was like, okay, this ain't over. Like I feel like this is gonna come out. Like something happened that Ellie's gonna find out about if we get another game. And fast forward, Joel kept it quiet. He didn't say anything, but Ellie always had her suspicions as she got older about what really happened at the hospital. So she went to go find out for herself. And then when she found the recording, at the tape recorder that said everything, and she confronted Joel about it, that rift happened. But the thing about it also shows that Joel is, because Joel's the father figure, he's trying to protect Ellie, but and it's to fill that void because his regular daughter, his original daughter, died. So he's kind of overstepping things, and he's making choices for Ellie that Ellie didn't want Joel to make. Like Ellie didn't have a choice in that matter to say, hey, I would want to, sacrifice myself for the possibility of having a cure if it was going to be able to happen. But Joel took that away from her because Joel, took it upon himself to see Ellie as his daughter or his daughter figure, and he figures he knew what was best for her. But he did it for himself and selfish reason because he didn't want to be alone, and he didn't want to lose someone else he already had that connection with, just like his daughter. So now, fast forward, they have this rift because they don't know, Joel wants forgiveness from Ellie, but he understands why Ellie's upset, and he doesn't know how to go about it. And Ellie just has to be able to be willing to forgive Joel, but Ellie doesn't know how to feel about it either because she feels like her life would have been more important if she did, be sacrificed and a cure was made to save everybody else. So she feels like now, through the story with the flashbacks and everything, and leading up to that great last scene with them two before everything happens, where they have that conversation where Ellie's like, I don't know if I'll ever forgive you, but I would like to try. And we all know what happens to Joel after the fact is that fuels Ellie's, vengeance because another thing got taken away from her. The thing about this game with Ellie is that she's struggling so much because she gets things ripped away from her that she doesn't have a choice in the matter at having have happen. So she didn't have a choice in being able to save Joel. She didn't have a choice in being able to save the rest of humanity with the cure. She's just being ripped away and having to watch all these events happen and live through them, knowing that she could have made a difference in some way, shape, or form. And she's trying to atone for them in some way, and that's what this journey is about. And she has to deal with this internal struggle the entire time. So I thought that was really dope that they did that with her and Joel. And that they showed some little bit, a glimmer, even though it didn't really happen, a glimmer that they were gonna come back and try to work things out. Because if they would have left it open-ended, I wouldn't have liked that. If it would have just been, okay, they had this rift forever without having that conversation of rebuilding, then it would have made me feel a certain way. So that very last scene really, really was key, and I really appreciated that they did that. And it also makes me feel like, dang, like it hits harder when you think about the initial scene in the beginning when Joel dies, because you knew they were on the mend, and now it's never going to happen again. So that's again, great storytelling.
And I think that's just it. Like, that's how I interpreted the game. It was like, it's more than just he died. Like, she was finally in a place of wanting to try to forgive him. And I think she was struggling the whole time with, I'm never going to get that chance. And I think what she kind of had to do, and I think this is kind of why someone brought it up in one of my streams, that for the bulk of the time, whenever she thinks about him outside of those flashbacks, it's always him dying. It's always him on the ground. It's always him covered in blood until she almost kills Abby. And it's almost kind of like she has that moment of realization, almost like she has that moment of figuring out how to forgive him, because I don't think she knows how, and then she doesn't know how to navigate those feelings. And you can tell throughout the whole game, she's like forcing herself to be something she's not. Like, she's not this killer. She's not this person who tortures people. Like, it eats her up inside to do it, but she feels like she has to, because that's her only way of dealing with the fact that she's never going to have that relationship that she wanted to work towards with Joel. like she doesn't like kill. I think her name was Nora. Like she's torn up when she tortures her. She's emotionally upset when she kills Mel and Owen, because that's just, it's not who she is, but she's trying to force herself to be that person to deal with her pain.
Yeah, when that Nora shit, man, that was crazy, because I was like, you had to do all that running and everything. You had to go after, then you had to fight the damn clickers and everything. I'm like, man, if she kept it to Nora, it's gonna be over. And I didn't think she was gonna torture her right before she killed her like that. I'm like, and it was like you said, Majestic, it was right, right after, was it right after? Yeah, after we saw Abby, was at the hospital with her, at that same hospital that we had to sneak into.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Exactly.
Like, man, that shit. And you're right, Majestic, because when Ellie and what's the guy, Jesse, right?
Yeah.
When they had their moment when he was like, well, I'm gonna stay here. If you go, you on your own. And Ellie made, like you said, she made a decision that she normally wouldn't do. That's like not her. And she went on, where her decision is to keep going on by herself or whatever. So I'm just to get that boat to Tommy. So yeah, man, this shit was crazy. The other also is the Seraphites. I don't remember, they wasn't in the first one, right? That's a new batch of like kind of enemies.
Yeah.
And
I thought they would do more explaining on them, especially since they had like that figure that was painted everywhere.
Yeah.
So I was a little disappointed that they didn't
really close the chapter on that one.
Yeah, they didn't really give us a good enough explanation as to why there was that beef. We just knew that there was a beef because they were killing each other. But with how many times we saw that woman like painted or scratched or whatever on like buildings, I kind of thought they would give us a little more just a overall understanding of who they were. See, I feel like, and this is so when we finally trap Nora in the basement and we're with the spores and we don't have a mask and she's coughing and wheezing and all that stuff. When Ellie picked up that chair before she closed locked the door, I thought she was just gonna put it down in front of Nora and sit there. And I was like, see, I feel like that would have been a boss move, and that would have like really showed like Ellie is about this life. But the fact that she struggled with it, I was like, see, she's not about this revenge life, but she doesn't know how to deal with her feelings anymore. But when she picked up the chair the first time before she put it against the door, I was like, is she about to sit in there and like cross her legs and be like, so we gonna sit here and talk? Because I'm fine.
Right. I'm immune.
Right. I'm good.
Immune.
I don't need no gas mask. That's why you over there coughing.
She was coughing the moment they got in there.
Yep, she sure was. Damn, this shit was awesome, man. Yeah, but yeah, I also you're right, because we saw that painting of the woman with playing Ellie's story and playing Abby's story.
She was all over.
Yeah. It was kind of like, okay, maybe it might be something they might allude to in the third one. Maybe, I have no idea. But you're right, Majestic. They did play on that a little too much. And I was kind of hoping there was going to be some type of connection or some type of reasoning behind this lady that we keep seeing. So I'm like, okay, what's this? Like, is this going to be like two different bosses we're going to end up fighting or whatever? Where it's going to be one side we play as this person and we fight that, and then maybe Abby fight the lady or something. Like, so I thought it was going to be like a boss we were going to see, like a double boss fight or some shit like that when they kept showing that lady. But yeah, like, so okay, so now once after we get to, we play the Abby side and Ellie side and Abby side, and it clashes and it gets to kind of like the present moment, like, because it was still a lot of game being played. Like, it wasn't like
there was a lot of game left.
Yeah, I was
surprised.
Yeah, it wasn't like, okay, once we got to when Abby got to the theater and she shot Jesse, and then told Ellie, put your gun down and all that stuff. I'm thinking like, okay. So I'm like, we at the end, damn near. We about to be at the end of the game. Nope.
Not at all.
Nope.
It was like, you thought.
It was like you thought you was at the end, but no, you still had to play more. You had to really play some more of this damn game. And yeah, like Granddad, you said it perfect, man. The storytelling on this game, man, is just like so A1. It actually did what me and you, we was praying for this game to do. Be just as good, or if not better, than the first Last of Us. And I think it did a good job of keeping that,
it's hard for me to say if it's better than the first one because it's still too soon.
The first one, that
right. It's hard for me to say that, but I will. I said this at the end of my playthrough. I said at the end of the first one and at the end of this one, I had the same feelings. One, I wanted more, which I do want more. And two, I was satisfied with what I got playing through this game. That's what I wanted out of The Last of Us 2, and they gave me both those things, as well as on top of it just being a good experience to play. So, because I wasn't expecting them, because I didn't think they would be able to make a better game. And that decision, that's still to determine. I think we need more time to determine if it's a better game than the first, because some people are going to be like, no, of course not. And some people will say, yeah, it is. I can't say it just yet, but I will say it's on par. It's on par. And I can say that. I can say that.
How was it? How was y'all feeling when you was Abby, when it got to that moment at the theater, and then you had to go and like hunt down and like beat up Ellie and stuff?
I didn't want to do it.
I didn't want to do it. And let me say this though: the AI for Ellie is insane though.
Yeah,
I was like, how come I can't play like this? I want to play like that.
It was like literally you can't attack her head on because
not at all.
One hit, you're dead. I was like, what? Like how many times? I don't even know how many times I got shot in the face with a shotgun. I got stabbed in the stomach with a machete. When she put those bombs down, I know. Like, hold up, I was like, I didn't even use these bombs the whole time I played as Ellie. Exactly. I forgot I had them. I don't think I used the Molotovs, but I didn't use the
hell out them damn bombs. I used those bombs every time when the guy had a dog. I was like, oh, you got a dog. Poop, 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 pop that sucker down.
Easy up here, exploding dogs, y'all.
I didn't even think about that. Look, the dogs. Let's take a moment.
Things fly. I was like, oh, you want to step over here? Okay, bam, boom. Hey, someone's dead. And I put another one. Boom. Man, that shit was fun. That was so fun.
Honestly, that now that I think about it, and with the scent trail, that was a really good idea. I was too distraught from killing the dogs. I did not like that. The first dog that I killed, literally, like my jaw dropped. I'm like looking around the room, just like trying to process what happened. The game drove me to drink. I had a thing of soda and I had to spike it. I was like, I can't. That was just terrible.
It's either my life or that dog's life, man. When I got multiple people hunting me. What you about to say, Majestic?
Well, no, it's like I think a lot of people shot the dogs and I was still trying to be kind of stealth. So I stabbed a lot of dogs. I have a clip where I got a raid right as I'm like bludgeoning a dog with a melee weapon. And I just had to pause it. And I was like, I just don't feel like this is the right time. I just don't feel like this is a really good time.
So it's never a good time to bludgeon a dog. I'm just saying, but you got to do what you got to do, Majestic. Now,
I know. I did, but for the first few, I was like, I would close my eyes. Like I would press the button to stab it, but I was like, no, I can't watch it.
Man, I use the bombs on the dogs and the human folks. Like if I know I was kind of getting cornered and they were coming, oh yeah, I throw like about 2 or 3 of them things down there, man, and just body parts just flying. I was like, oh yeah, Majestic. You got to use those bombs. Those bombs are very helpful. Well, it's some noise, but if you stay stealth, they're gonna hear it, but they're not gonna find you. You know what I'm saying? So,
but my problem is, I think my mindset every time I play these games is like, I don't know how long these resources are going to last. I don't know how many of you guys are around. I don't know when I'm going to get stuff again. So I try to do as much stealth as I can. And then when someone finds me, I run away and I try to hide. And then I try to do more stealth. So I don't get backed into corners too much because I'll stealth kill everybody. If I can do a whole level stealth kill, I'll do the whole level until everyone's stealth. And I'm like, cool, like I still got all my bullets. Like we're all good. Everything's fine.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it, Majestic. I'm the same way. I like to go the stealth route, but sometimes you got to get the blicky. Sometimes you got to go out there and shoot it up. But going back to the bombs with Ellie, I never used them that much either. I think what's funny is the first time I set them, but like I would just go back and pick them up because nobody would like go over them but the very end of the game when you're in the house or the compound to try to find Abby in the prison, I set one in like a little doorway because it was like
I saw that one. That was
Deodin clipped it. And dude saw me set the trap. He saw me set the bomb. I was right in front of him. He had a gunpoint. I put it and I ran away and I went and hid. And like 2 seconds later, he walks towards the doorway and he blows up, but it kills everybody. That was the first time I saw how damaging the bomb was. and it like literally killed everything in that room on that side. So I was like, dang, I should be using these a lot earlier.
It's like the torso was on one side.
Torso, half a body was on the other side. I was like,
man,
damn.
That thing do some damage. You know?
I was like, Lord.
Y'all remember how many hours it took y'all to finish this game?
I think it took me 26 or 27, or was it 20? I could literally turn my PlayStation on right now.
Yeah, I didn't even look, but based off of the streams, because I streamed everything, I'd say between 25 to 29, I would think. It's around that range.
I'm crazy because it took me like 34. And a lot of those hours was because I searched everything. Like,
gotta loot.
Everything. I searched everything. Like, every time when I kill stuff, I will go around the building, the crevice of the building. I was finding all types of locks, finding all types of everything. Like I was looking. I probably spent like about a good out of the hours of the game. I probably spent like maybe 3.5 hours just total of me looting and like looking, especially like in the beginning when it was you and Dina and y'all on the horse, y'all in the downtown area of Seattle when you first get that map.
I heard that was a big looting area, and I did a lot of it, but I didn't do all of it.
I did all of it. I started every time when every building I went in when they had a question.
Me too.
I was checking every damn thing. I was going in the basements. I don't care if I had to fight stuff. I was like, oh, guess what? They about to die today. I kill them, and then I search in the little safes and search in the drawers. Like, I searched everything. I think I would have probably been in that 25, 26 hours total, but I was crazy.
Yeah. I searched everything. What difficulty did you play on?
I played on regular.
Okay, me too.
Yeah, me too. And the thing about that, because I looted everything too. I was like, honestly, I had some fun. I had a lot of fun looting stuff and just like going around looking for stuff. Like it was, and that's kind of strange.
I'm mad because I didn't get all of the cards for Ellie, but I got all of the coins for Abby. Like I collected all.
I didn't even check. I actually did not check how many of the collectibles I got in comparison to each person. I was just picking them up as I saw them, but I didn't check to see how many I missed. Yeah, but normally I don't normally finish.
Yeah, Ellie, I think I missed like 3. I believe I got them all except for 3 with Ellie, and I was pissed because I got everything with Abby, man. So I was like, damn it. But yeah, man, I'm crazy. So I was searching. I was looting every damn thing. Let me ask y'all this: at the moment where, when Dina came in to save Ellie after you had to beat down Ellie, did y'all think Abby was going to slit her throat?
Oh yeah, I definitely thought she was gonna slit her throat. If not, I thought Dina was gonna miscarry. I was like, this is too much. You are
right. Dina definitely got a concussion at the very least.
I mean, if you look back at the end, those scenes of them in the house, you could see the scars on their face from fighting Ellie or from fighting Abby. They both have like, Ellie has like a scar on her lip. Dina had a scar on her forehead. Like they had a couple bruises and bumps on there.
Right. You don't mess with swole Abby.
When Abby came in there, I just knew she was about to slit her throat because when she was like, she's pregnant, and then Abby was like, what'd she say?
So was Mel. Yeah, but
go ahead.
But I was gonna say if it wasn't for Lev, she probably would have. Because Lev was the voice of reason. He was the one who had pretty much talked her off the ledge. Because if Abby went there by herself, definitely she probably would have killed Dina.
But the interesting thing of knowing both sides of the story, we know that was never Ellie's intention. And it's not that that's something that's not going to make Abby feel any better, because Abby walks in and she thinks, oh, she killed all my friends to get to me. Whereas what we know is she was wrestling with the gun, accidentally shot Owen. She didn't know that Mel was pregnant and Mel was trying to stab her. So it was actually her killing them was self-defense, because Ellie very much had the same approach to it that Abby had towards killing Joel, where it's, I'm just coming for this one person. Everyone else dying after that was of their own, I don't want to say their own choices, but their reactions to Ellie, because she wasn't trying to kill Nora. She just wanted information. Same with the other two. But because Nora ran, and also Nora said some slick stuff. Like, even I was just like, oh, like, Nora, just tell us she's such a pretty Black female character. And then she said some stuff about Joel, and I was like, nope, you gotta die. I'm sorry, but you got to go.
Talk about my man's like that.
You don't talk about my dad figure. That's what you don't do. Right. And I was like, at that point, I was like, see, like, you kind of gotta die. And I was like, I don't even care that you're like the one female Black character in here. I don't care anymore. Like, you gotta go.
You got to go. To go. We gotta talk about this crazy. I'm pretty sure y'all all had a crazy experience with this particular boss fight. That damn, what's it called? The Rat King, where it had all those damn.
Oh my God.
And you just had to, and he had like one ripped off of him or whatever, and you had to fight that after you finished fighting it. Like, how many did y'all die a lot at that boss fight, or not too many?
I think I died 3 or 4 times, but I died more not knowing where to go and getting caught in corners. Like, the first 2 times I died was, I think someone I was like, where do I go? And someone in the chat was like, you have to fight him. But I wasn't at the point where you actually have to start fighting him yet. Mm-hmm. So I died because I was like, it's not working. There's nowhere for me to go. And I was literally backed into a corner and he grabbed me. Once I figured out the pattern a little bit and I got to the section where you actually fight him, I might have died like a couple more times after that. Like maybe like 2 or 3.
Yeah, I died twice. So the first time, my dumb ass, when it first got to the part where you fight him, I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna fuck him up with my shotgun because I have flames in there. I was just shooting my shotgun. I didn't move, so he just grabbed me and killed me instantly. I was like, oh, okay, so shotgun won't work.
Yeah, so he wasn't a bloater, or he wasn't a what was the new one that they added?
The stalker.
Yeah, no, not the stalker. The shambler. The shambler was surprisingly easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I expected the shambler to be right up there with the bloater, which it wasn't. But it was like, no, like he took some time.
Yeah. So then after that, I was like, you know what? Let me just empty out my flamethrower on it. Maybe it'll kill it. So then I empty out my flamethrower on it. Nope, he killed me. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking run. So then once I got to that part, I just started running, switching guns, pop, running, switching guns, pop, lay down a couple of little bombs or whatever, and not later. I'm sorry, I threw some bombs at him. Bam, hit him with a couple shotguns, ran around again, hit him with my not my basic handgun, but my handgun that only shoots 1 at a time.
That's the one that I was talking about.
The hunting pistol.
I hit him, like 3 shots of that, and then it went down. I was like, okay, cool, bet.
That's pretty much what I did. I was like, run around, set him on fire. Run around, shoot him with a shotgun. Run around, throw a bomb.
And
like, just don't stop moving.
Right, that's exactly what I did too.
Stressful, man, is like, okay, after you beat them, you're like, all right, cool, bet. Next thing you know, you hear a little motherfucker. I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell?
It wasn't over. Yeah,
I thought I killed that. I thought I had already killed it because I hadn't seen it in a while. It like literally ran off. Like I hit it a couple of times and it ran off until I beat the Rat King. And I was like, all right, let's pick up our loot. And then he came back.
Man, I was like, man, this game did not give you, the only time this game gave you time to breathe was when they did flashbacks or when it was cutscene moments. Like that was the only time. And it was a moment on here where I was playing as Ellie. I was Ellie. I went inside this house, I'm searching. Of course, I'm crazy. I'm searching every apartment and hotel and house. So then I found a workbench. I'm like, oh, okay, bet. A workbench. Cool. I need to upgrade some stuff. So I'm up here turning on the workbench. All I hear is some feet coming at me, and then a dude was attacking me, dude.
Right? Just snuck you real quick. I was like, wait a minute. We ain't even upgrading this motherfucker.
Hold up a second. How y'all gonna come up to me while I'm working?
Right?
Dude, I am
the game pause.
Dog, that was a crazy. That was, besides fighting the Rat King, that was definitely one of the like kind of like shocking moments, because we all know every time when you at the workbench upgrading your gun, it's always peaceful and quiet. You never get bothered. Man, I'm up here just upgrading, looking at what can I upgrade next. Man, I heard the feet stomping and then the yelling. I'm like, wait a minute, this dude stuffed me. So yeah, then I had to fight like 4 people right there. So yeah, man, this game.
I didn't even get my scope yet.
It did not.
Look at workbenches the same after that. Like you got your head on a swivel. Like, wait a minute. Man, everybody did.
Like for people that don't understand, that's why that's such a big deal, because imagine playing Resident Evil and you in the safe room, and the enemy come in or something while you're in the safe.
Like Nemesis just burst through the door while you going through your
items and stuff. So like that's equivalent. So when that happened to me at the workbench, that's almost equivalent as if Resident Evil, if Capcom would have thrown in something to where you in the safe room and the enemy come in while you in the safe room. Like I was so blown away by that shit. I'm like, I cannot believe that shit happen, man.
Yeah,
like,
big ups to whoever thought about that idea, because that was nobody would ever have thought about that. Nobody would ever thought that was coming.
Especially with how much they added into the workbench. Like it's going to take you a moment to get out the workbench. Like you can't just, it's not like I felt like it was very quick. It was underappreciated in the first game. This one is like, I got to take my backpack off. I got to pull the gun out. I got to grab whatever I'm going to put on. And that was one thing that I really liked, because you could actually see the changes you made to your gun. Like I think I added the extra ammo to the shotgun, and literally there's like a little thing at the end that had some ammo on it. I was like, this is logical. Like you're not just kind of like upgrading these weapons and you don't see the upgrades. Like it's actually, they took the time to put something on here to make your upgrade happen. And that was something that I really enjoyed. I was like, you took something that really didn't, I don't want to say it didn't mean anything, but you just kind of, you gave meaning to something that was just kind of like, oh, this is a thing I do. I upgrade my weapon so that I can play better. And I was like, something so simple, yet it changed. I felt like it just made that whole experience more enjoyable.
So we gonna talk about how Abby told Ellie and Dina to take their ass to the farmhouse and shit and live happily ever after that whole incident in the theater.
They got their ass whooped.
Got their ass whooped.
Got their ass whooped to Wyoming.
She spared their life and told them, y'all better take y'all ass out of Seattle. You don't gotta go home.
Back up
you gotta get the hell out of here.
And then we get to where Abby and Ellie and Dina is how many years later? Like, cause it gotta be like maybe some months later because the baby is born. I
want to say at least like a year and a half.
It's gotta be a year because Dina wasn't even really showing.
She had just found out she was pregnant.
So it's probably about a year.
Right. So yeah, probably a year some change. And they did y'all think we was kind of at the end at the game at that point? Or
I kind of thought we were. I thought we were. At least I didn't think it was as much game left.
It was a lot
as there was.
Yeah, it was a lot. So we in the farm. We they showing the whole little. Them in the farm, and then Ellie has like a what's that, a PTSD type of moment.
Yeah,
a dreaming sequence where she have a flashback or whatever, and then she's waking up back in there, back to reality, and
screaming in the baby's ear.
Screaming all in the baby's ear. You up there crying, don't know what's going on. So then Ellie ends up going to because she Tommy came to the house and he's telling her some information about where Abby is at, and she's being held by I forgot about that part. So when Abby and Lev, when that big dude punched little Lev up against the garage door,
when he punched his face in the garage door.
I've never seen a more that punch was so unnecessary.
It was beyond unnecessary.
Dude had to be a good 250 pounds.
And 260.
Solid. 260 solid. He cocked back all his strength.
He had a running
Lev about 4 foot 11.
About
80 pounds.
Soaking wet, if that.
Soaking wet.
The moment the fist hit the jaw, Lev was asleep. And then when I saw his face hit the garage, I was like, nah.
Like you could have just punched him. You didn't have to punch his face into the garage door. That's what you didn't.
And Lev ain't woke up since the rest of the game. Lev was out for the rest of the game. We never saw Lev speak one more time. He was done.
He didn't open his eyes. I didn't even think about that. He really was out for the rest of the game.
Bro was snoring
into another dimension.
Bro got punched into hibernation. I was like, yeah.
Sleeping to this day, Diogen.
Yes, man.
To this day.
To this day, he's living.
He still sleep.
But yeah, we get to that moment where Tommy tells Ellie where Abby is at. So Abby goes and try to rescue and get Abby back. And that part of the game was pretty cool because I felt like we had one of the best games in the gun when she picked up that silencer, that M16, that rifle with the silencer on it. Yeah. I was like, damn, why would they have this weapon the whole time with Ellie? I was like, damn, see, this is fucked up. But that was cool because we had to, it was another one of those stealth, and you can use the enemies for your like your advantage because some of the people was keeping like the infected and stuff.
Yeah, I liked doing that. That was something I really liked in the DLC that I wish they had done more of, because in the DLC I liked there's like 2 opportunities that you get to actually unleash infected on your enemies, and I was like, this is awesome. Like, why didn't we do this the whole game? So I was glad we had that moment. I wish we had more moments like that, but it's a fun little strategy to just kind of like sit and watch, and you just kind of just keep throwing bottles or bricks or stuff to just keep making the infected go and attack somebody. It's like, just do my work for me. I'm just gonna sit back here in this corner and wait.
Yep. So that was cool, like getting up to that point, and you in that big complex in that house, and there's enemies because at that point, I think the first time, like the first level, I snuck in, but by the time I got to the second level, I was fighting. I was like, all right, you know what? Damn this stuff.
Same.
I just started shooting everything. I was like, shotgun, everybody coming towards me, bam, 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 like everybody. So I just shot my way till I got to Abby. Well, I went and released the people. It was, I guess, her people that was in prison, that was like in prison or whatever. So I unleashed them, and they told me where Abby was at. And then when we see Abby,
damn,
she's like just as small, or if not smaller than Ellie. I was like, her hair was cut. Her
I was like, they couldn't at least leave her with her braid, because I definitely ran up to someone. I was like, Abby, because they had a braid. I was like, right, oh, not you.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't have a braid anymore.
And Abby had the short cut. Her muscles was gone because she probably hadn't eaten, and she don't eat that much, and they just had her strung up there. It didn't even look like Abby. I was like,
it didn't look like Abby. It didn't look like Abby at all.
Tell if that was Abby. I'm like, is that really Abby? I'm like,
Lev looked better than Abby. Lev still looked like Lev.
He did.
Abby, I don't know who that was.
Man, it was like they just swapped somebody out. Like, hey girl, you want to go ahead and act like this? Okay.
You want to go ahead? We're gonna name you Abby.
We're gonna name you Abby, but you look nothing like her. Her muscles was gone and everything. So she helped her down. And then like I knew when Ellie looked, when she like was getting ready to get in the boat, and she like stopped and like when she looked at her hand or looked at something, and she like turned around and was like, I can't let you go. I'm like, oh man, don't tell me we're getting ready to fight. So
that was the most depressing fight I've ever done in a game. Man. I was like, this is so pathetic. I'm like, if both y'all asses don't get in the boat and go home.
I was watching, so I watched Granddad play this, and it was so funny because he was like that parent yelling at the 2 kids fighting what we're gonna watch on TV.
Are y'all done now? Y'all got out the system?
Exactly. He was like, if y'all don't stop, Ellie, stop it. You would think he was actually yelling at a child.
I was like, y'all ain't got no business doing this right now. Y'all both ain't in a position to be throwing no kind of hands.
But it was the most even playing field they were ever gonna have. Ellie was bleeding out. Yep. Abby was
small.
Half the size she usually is, right?
Small and fatigued and hungry. Because I truly think if Abby was her swole self, that fight would die.
No. Oh no.
Ellie would have put up a fight. Don't get me wrong. She would have put up a fight. But I think if Abby was swole Abby, yeah, no, I don't think it would have been no way Ellie would have been able to.
That's what Ellie was like. No, this is my shot. It's my chance.
It's my chance. Yeah, she like, it's my chance to get her.
You look like me now. We can throw them hands now. So
and the thing is, she almost had that moment. She really almost had that moment. She's like, I'm just gonna leave. Yep. And I'm just kind of like, you really could have just left her up there. Like, you could have just shot her up here, but you wanted to cut her down. Right. You wanted to have a knife fist fight. When she lost her fingers, though, I closed my eyes.
Oh, that was so dope.
Her fingers got bit off.
Oh God,
that was on some Walking Dead shit, man.
I didn't know it was. At first, I didn't know it was 2 fingers, and then I saw it was 2 fingers. I was like, ooh. But someone in my chat had a good point. They were like, dang, like, Abby's so dehydrated, she's not even bleeding because she was barely bleeding from those splashes.
But man, that was Walking Dead. Like when she bit her fingers, I was like, that's Walking Dead. That's what the governor bit. Meryl's fingers off and shit before he killed him. But
yep, and
oh, that was brutal. I like that brutal shit, man. I'd be like, oh, that was brutal as fuck. Like, and they showed it too. Like, oh, man, that was so
in the wind. But here's the thing: how did y'all feel about neither of them dying? Like, do you think they should have had Ellie kill Abby or Abby kill Ellie, or do you think it was good how they just left them both? Like,
I think it was good they left it both. I mean, at the end of the day, they both lost everything. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like,
exactly.
Both of them lost everything. Like, you know, Dina packed the house and put her stuff in the corner or whatever. Like, and you know, Ellie, Abby don't have no one except for Lev, really. I mean, that's all she got. She don't have nothing.
That's if Lev ever wakes up.
Lev's gonna be asleep until Last of Us 3.
They're still in dreamland and shit, right?
The first cutscene of Last of Us 3 is gonna be Lev waking up. What happened?
I think that's good that they didn't, because for a second when Ellie started choking Abby in the water, and I was like, oh man, they're gonna do it. Don't let her die. Don't let her die.
So when that whole thing started,
yeah,
for a moment, I actually thought they were both going to die. When we got to the water, they were going to fight it out, or not even there. I think we were coming down to the beach. I really thought for a moment both of them were going to die because they were both so weak. Like Ellie's been bleeding out for over a day. Her shirt was white when she started. Now it was all red. She had stitched herself up, but she was still bleeding.
Yep.
And then, you know, Abby was a shell of her former self. I really thought they were both gonna die. But I feel like the more I think about it and the more I think about the story that they told, it's almost kind of like they show a part of each other's story, if that makes sense, in the sense that like we know Abby's been on this path of revenge for years, since before the game started, and she reaches her path at the beginning. And her story kind of shows like what happens after revenge, and you kind of see like nothing changes for her. Like, it's not like her life is any better. It's not like she's overcome with joy. We don't know what else she's lost going on this path of revenge, and now we have Ellie going on her own path of revenge. So I feel like I don't know if Ellie had a moment of realizing like this wasn't gonna fix it, and that's why she stopped trying to choke her and just let her go, or what. But I don't know. I think they were both on a path of revenge set by their father figures that on different occasions both of them tried to stop. Like, Abby tried to stop the cycle of violence that started with their fathers by letting Ellie go, and I think Ellie kind of had to come to that realization herself that is like, this is never gonna end. Like, we've literally killed all the people that I've killed, the people you care about, you've killed the people I care about, because of the stuff that happened between our fathers, not even us, or our father figures. And it's gotta stop, or it's never gonna stop.
Yeah, that's why I'm glad that they didn't kill each other, or that, Ellie let her go. And, it kind of sets the stage for possibly, a storyline for the third one. And then we get to the scene where, Abby goes back, when she finds out that, Dina packed up everything and left. And then she finds all her stuff in the room, in like the third bedroom, all her stuff and the guitar. Which, this is a negative thing for me, right? This was the only thing I didn't like about this damn game, was all these damn guitar plans and shit. You had to sit there and you had to stroke it. When you had to do the finger thing, whatever, when you was playing the guitars throughout the game. I got so sick of that. Every time when I find a guitar, and I'm like, oh, here we go. And you got to pick it up, press the C, go up. Ding, ding.
See, I loved that.
He was looking for the NPC. That's what he was. He didn't want to hit them pads.
I was like, oh my God. I was like, here go another guitar moment again. I said, let me go and grab something to drink or whatever. I'm like, I'm so sick of this. Why we gotta play the guitar again? But I will say this, that the ending part, the very last part, it was kind of like, damn, that's fucked up. It was kind of sad because she couldn't play because unless
she learns how to play with her other hand, she can't play.
Yeah, it was just like you couldn't play because of the finger. And then they cut scene to the last conversation they had before Joel died, before he ended up dying, of course. And it's like, damn, man, like, And then you remember, and I'm pretty sure you probably remember this a lot more, Majestic, is because it's fresh in your mind. But do you remember in the first Last of Us? Remember when they met up with the black dude and his son?
Mm-hmm. That was his brother.
Yeah,
that was his younger brother.
I'm sorry, yeah, the younger brother.
That was sad.
When he met them up, and then the little boy asked Ellie, like, you know, what are you afraid of being the most? And she said, being alone.
well, yeah.
And like, that's what she ended up being.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Like, so like, that's why that ending was like, oh shit. Like, cause like I said, all that you went through all that, and you end up something happening with you being alone. You scared of being alone. Dina left you, like everything, and it's like you don't have nothing. And she, you know, so when she left that guitar there, a last piece of what Joel gave to her, and she just walked off, like, damn, man, like that shit. Yeah, that shit was crazy. That shit was fucking crazy, man. Yeah.
So I think what I noticed, because I watched I think Gold Wave. After I finished playing, I was like, cool, I can watch other people finish playing the game now. Because I know no one's ahead of me because I'm done. Because I was really avoiding people's streams. I watched like a couple people's like first day streams because I started playing at midnight the day it came out. So I was like, I know it's safe to watch like 2 hours of some people's streams. And then I stopped. I think what I noticed, and I have to check on it again, but I think every time you played the guitar, that was the start of a flashback. And I think for Ellie, the flashbacks were more, it was less like, oh, this is like a playable flashback for us, and more of this is a memory for her. Because for starters, we never get to play that whole song. We like start and try to play that song like 2-3 times, and we never play the whole thing. And it's kind of sad that we get to the end and that's like our opportunity to play it, but we never do. But if I remember correctly, I know at least the last time it starts a flashback, I think the time in the theater when she plays the guitar in the theater, I think it starts a flashback then too.
Yeah, it does. You're right. I never noticed that. Yeah, you actually right. Yeah.
I think they go hand in hand. I interpreted, and it took me a little while to get here. I interpreted the ending with not necessarily Ellie ending up alone, but Ellie choosing to be alone. Like she chose to leave Dina. She knew what the possibility was.
Yeah.
But she chose to leave her stuff behind. And I think it's really Ellie's first opportunity to pave her own path. Because if you think about it, the first one starts, she's like 14 years old. So she's living the path that society is telling her as a 14-year-old. Then she's living the path of, oh, I'm immune, so let me listen to Marlene and let me go to this other place and travel because I'm going to be a cure. Then she's living the path that Joel set out for her because he didn't let her die. And a lot of people were kind of torn, and they were like, well, she should have stayed with Dina. She shouldn't have left Dina. And it's like, but if she chose to stay with Dina, she just would have been living the path that Dina wanted her to. I think when she goes back to the house and she leaves her guitar and she leaves her journals and she literally leaves everything behind, that's her first opportunity to live her own path. She's not living in anybody's shadow. Nobody's telling her what to do. No one's literally paving a path for her. She's doing it herself for the first time. So I didn't really look at it as she was left alone. I looked at it more as she's finally doing her own thing.
So are you seeing it as like she's deciding now, she's facing her fear of being alone by taking that step to kind of like find her own path, which means she will have to be alone, but she's in a way, yeah, she's facing her fear, that fear of being alone. She's going to take it head on, and going through that maybe will give her the clarity to see what her true purpose is.
Right. Like she's not taking anything from anybody. Like she's not taking the guitar, she's not taking her drawing, she's literally, it's her opportunity to start 100% fresh and start the way that she wants to. Because think about it, even then, the only reason she's in Wyoming is because of Joel, is because they went to go live with Tommy when the whole thing at the hospital didn't work out. The only reason she was going to the hospital was because Marlene was like, oh, you got bit and you're not infected. Like, I feel like the only choice that Ellie ever made was in the DLC when her and her friend chose to just sit and, lose their minds together, but she never did because she never turned. So I don't think she's really had an opportunity to make any of her own choices outside of, being filled with rage that something was taken away from her, that she started this revenge quest. But I think it's really her first chance to really like pave her own life and not living the life that someone else wants her to live.
Majestic, you ain't gonna bring up your favorite part of the game? Your favorite scene of the game?
I don't know what my favorite scene of the game was. I think I just really liked. You know what? I actually think I do.
I think what your favorite scene was. I keep hearing that your favorite scene was when Abby and Owen finally got it on in the boat.
Oh my god!
From the bike.
I mean, the word on the street, Majestic, is that like that was your favorite scene.
It wasn't even so. For starters, I had a couple people in my chat that kind of spoiled it for me. They were just like, "Oh, like major cringe coming up," and I was just kind of like I like that people try to prepare you. Sometimes, like if I'm gonna have a lot of fights and I'm like running past equipment and stuff, like yeah, go ahead, like let me know. Hey, like you might have a lot of stuff, but honestly, I don't want to know anything. It's my first time playing a game, so people came in and were like, "Oh, it's major cringe." I went into the boat. I was like, in my head, I'm like, "Is this gonna be like some weird like sex scene?" But I didn't think anything of it. I was 100% not ready, and there's a clip of it too where I'm just sitting there and I'm like, talking to boobs. And then I literally said, I was like, I don't even feel like I should be watching this right now. Like, it's weird. So like,
me too. I was so not ready for that, like on the stream, because I was at first. Here's what happened. I had a deep feeling because I saw when Abby pushed Owen onto the wall because they started to fight. And I
knew that.
I looked. I was like, I said they bet not. And literally 2 seconds later, they started. And I was like, no. And
that was some Mr. and Mrs. Smith type shit.
And I was like, all right, they're just gonna make out. And then I saw her seeing clothes come off, and then I said nakedness. I was like, nah. And then I saw they went all in. I was like, nah, really, Owen? Really, you got a whole baby mama. You doing this on the boat?
And I was just kind of like, I was like, this is a game, right? This is a game.
Yeah. I was like, Lord.
Not for a whole second. Literally, I was just like, boobs. That was my reaction.
Man, I was like, yo, I'm like, they really showing this? I said, this shit is hella awkward. It was so awkward. Yeah. It was so awkward. Like that was. Yeah,
I think we could have dealt without that scene.
We really could have. We could have just cut to the next morning. We know what happened. We can fill in the blanks.
Right. Like show them waking up next to each other in the bed, and then okay, we get it. We could put 2 and 2 together. But like to really like show it, I'm like, really?
It's like, now you're gonna see these cheeks.
Look, they're like, oh, we gonna
these cheeks.
They're gonna say,
these muscular, these swole cheeks getting clapped. You're gonna see it. I'm like, because they knew what it was gonna do. They was gonna make it mad awkward for everybody watching. They knew it. Because like,
I'm sure they got a nice little chuckle out of that too. Whoever's idea that was is probably laughing at everybody playing that game.
Oh my god! I guess they call it Naughty Dog for a reason, huh?
Right? They got naughty today.
The first time, how many Naughty Dog games? Crash Bandicoot wasn't naughty,
right?
Crash Bandicoot.
I'm afraid to play the next Crash game now, y'all. We don't know what Crash gonna be getting into in that game. So,
man. So another real quick too before we get to this question from Alan Press Start in the Reddit that he asked us. I want to add, besides the Rat King boss fight, I'm gonna ask y'all this because my dumb ass tried to fight everything when it happened. But you remember when you get to Scar Island and everything is like on fire and like everybody is like killing at each other?
Yep.
Like that's another one of my like favorite moments because my dumb ass was trying to go around and kill everybody. Like I wasn't running straight. I wasn't trying to run out. I was going like, oh shit, they're gonna do pow, shoot him. And then the other dudes start shooting me. And then I go over there, pow, start shooting them. I'm like, wait a minute, this is a good farming area. I can kind of farm some of this stuff. So I'm like trying to shoot, I'm trying to kill everybody. And I died like maybe 4 or 5 times, but I was like, okay, you know what? maybe I need to keep running straight and keep going and following Lev because I
sat back. I sat back. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna wait for y'all to kill each other, and then I'll take whoever's left.
Yeah, no, I was trying to kill everybody. Like I put up on that scene. I'm like, look, man, this is fire around here. I'm like, man, this is a perfect time for someone to die. I said, let me go ahead and get my shotgun and just start blasting everybody off. And it's just so much action and commotion going on. I'm like, yo, this game is really not letting up. I'm like, damn. And I died like 5 times. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm supposed to go through and follow Lev and then we go off or whatever. Because I kept trying to fight, y'all. I kept trying to fight. I was like,
I kept trying to fight.
Somebody gonna die.
I'm like, you know what?
He said everybody's gonna die.
Everybody gonna die.
Like, no, just let them do it.
I'm
let
gonna be
them
the last one.
And then you take. I mean, I was still the last one there. I just let everybody. Y'all got it. Y'all got it.
I was trying to kill every single person, Seraphites and wolves, everybody. I was trying to kill everybody.
Easy. That's another good thing about this game is that they give you that not only that choice to not kill, but you don't have to involve yourself in all the smoke. Beat. You can bypass that smoke.
It's not your smoke.
It ain't got nothing.
Smoke.
Not at all. You just going to invite yourself to a situation you ain't even a part of.
But you know what? When we were sneaking in those houses before we got to that moment, like you going in those little houses, man, I was looting a lot of stuff. I had so much ammo. So once we started going through the fire, I'm like, oh yeah, and you had to fight the black dude after you fight the black dude or whatever. And I was just like, yo, I can kill all these people. Let me go ahead, click. I was trying to kill everything. I was like, okay, let me stop.
You got it. The point was to escape from the island.
I know.
Not kill everything, then escape. The whole thing was on fire. It's burning down.
Was on fire.
It's burning down everywhere.
You leave it alone. You let them handle it. It's not your beef no more.
It's time to go.
It's not your beef no more.
I realized it. I realized that by the 5th time though, Granddad.
Not the 5th time.
The 5th time
I died, I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe it's meant for me to just go ahead and just walk past everybody. And
let them handle their situation.
I did that, but I was like, man.
We have to take a moment of silence for Yara because Yara was the GOAT. Yara lost everything, including her life, because she was a good sister.
Yeah.
First of all, I was slow for a whole hot moment. Someone had to explain to me that Lev was a transgender character because I just wasn't processing it because I wasn't understanding what the scars and the Seraphites were supposed to be. So once someone said it, I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. And literally Yara tried to save her brother, lost her arm, lost her life.
Yeah.
Like moment of silence for Yara.
Yeah, Yara went out like a G. But before she went out, she made sure what's old dude's name? Isaac.
Isaac, yeah.
She made sure she got that last shot off on Isaac. She was like, yo.
She literally played dead.
Dead.
And then when everyone thought she was dead, she was like,
Isaac. That was a moment too, man.
Well, they dumped so many bullets in her after that. It wasn't even necessary.
So that's because they thought she was dead at first. She played dead so well that they didn't know. And I wasn't expecting Isaac. I thought something a little more climactic was going to happen with Isaac, but I was not that. But I mean, Yara's a really good sister. Lev lost everything. Lev lost his sister. Lev lost his mom. Lev lost everything.
Lost his home.
Lost his home.
Pretty much his faith too, because everything he believed in was a lie or was gone too. So everything that he stood for and believed in and the people he loved all took away from him. And now he's got Abby, and they have this bond thing that's going on. But you can't help but not feel bad for Lev, because Lev it's kind of like how you feel about Ellie, because they're so young and they just got thrown into these situations without having to really have a choice in the matter. And then you just see how one thing is stripped from Lev after the other, like literally while he's going through this internal struggle at the same time and trying to figure himself out. So I'm like, it's just wild. And then he got knocked out.
And now he's still sleeping.
Like we got to have some justification for Lev. If there's a Last of Us 3, Lev got to come back with the fire, because Lev can't just go out like that, lose everything and then get put to sleep for the rest of the game.
Yeah, that's just
have a payoff.
That was just But you know what? And I was thinking about it while we were talking about it. It would actually probably be a really good DLC to have like a Lev Yara story before, we catch them. And I will also say one thing that was really good about the storytelling is that some of these scenes that we saw, they came out like 2-3 years ago. And no one thought anything of them. Like the scene with Yara getting hit with getting her arm broken, the scene with the dance at the little party. Like when those scenes came out, we didn't think anything of it. We're like, oh cool, like they're working on The Last of Us 2. When I saw that Yara scene, I was just like, wow, they're really using this footage. Like there was a purpose behind this. And it's everything in perspective. We had to rewatch it because someone else was like, but like, why was Yara there? And we're like, because she got
right.
Yeah, she got
got.
But
so do you think, because you're saying DLC, Majestic, but I think from what I was seeing, they're crafting not only Abby, but also probably Lev to be main characters in the following game. So I think doing DLC wouldn't do them justice, wouldn't do Lev justice, because Lev got put through so much, I think, and then there's so much more to Lev's story that we have to know and figure out and find out about. So I think if anything, I said this on my stream, I think if any DLC makes the most sense right now, it would be a Tommy DLC, because Tommy's going through Tommy's got his own thing he's doing, and Tommy kind of pokes in and out of the game here and there, and we never really get to see what Tommy's really doing, but we do know that he's around and he's doing some killing, and he's being here and there, and people are searching for him too. So I think it would be dope for us to get a DLC to see what Tommy was doing through this entire situation.
I think that would be cool. I could just see, if not a DLC, like an opportunity for storytelling to give us some more information on I can never remember what they're called, so I call them the Scars because that's what everyone else called them. To give us more information on them, because I didn't really think about it till we talked about it. I was like, we really don't know what they stood for, why they were like, why it was like, oh, y'all don't use like old technology, y'all build in the sky. I was just kind of like, we played this stuff, we didn't ask a lot of questions about it. We were just like, all right, like they just do stuff different. And as we were talking about it, I was like, we don't even know who that woman figure is and why she was everywhere and all that stuff. I could see where, if not a DLC, I could see where that would be a good opportunity for storytelling to kind of fill in that gap. Because what I feel like the first Last of Us did was it did just that. It filled in a gap. It was less of, it didn't necessarily feel like a DLC, because it kind of felt like we didn't know what happened during that chunk of time anyway. We didn't know how Ellie got bit, and we didn't know what happened in between Joel getting hurt and Ellie shooting a rabbit by herself. So it kind of fit perfectly. So I could see where that, like, kind of Lev's origin and that whole situation and more information about the Scars, I could see where that would be a good chunk of time to add story to. And then I could also see kind of the Tommy stuff where that's a good chunk of time. Now, I have to ask you guys, did you catch immediately that Tommy was the sniper, or did you catch it when you approached him?
It was when I approached him. I was like, when I approached. I
had no idea who that sniper was. I was just like, damn, because
I caught it as soon as Manny was like, yeah, these intruders have been coming after us lately, literally. And I don't remember who was in my chat. They were like, wow, I didn't catch it till I saw his jacket. I caught it instantly because I remembered, oh yeah, Tommy taught Ellie how to snipe. That was like one of the first things that was one of the flashbacks.
Yeah.
So when he was like, yeah, like these intruders have been coming after us. And I was like, well, Ellie and Jesse have been coming after them for a while. So I was like, oh, this has to be Tommy.
Yeah.
From the jump.
Wow. Yeah, I ain't even peeped that, but I did peep how he shot Manny's whole face off though. I did.
Whole face.
That shit.
And I thought that was interesting, knowing that we knew that Jesse got his face shot off too.
Yep.
I thought that was real interesting. Like they both, because Jesse got shot through the cheek.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. So when he came in, pow, I was like, ooh, snap. That part was fun too. Yeah, when Tommy was sniping Abby and you had to move your way up. Yeah, that shit was crazy.
Yeah, now imagine that's what I'm saying. Like, so with a Tommy DLC, imagine playing that part, going back, and now you're the one on the gun.
That would
you
be
have
good.
to like, yeah. So that's what at that point, that's when my mind started turning. Like, okay, I think this would be perfect DLC content for having a side story for Tommy. Because, and the thing about Tommy is, I was super surprised that Tommy didn't die when he got shot.
I thought he got shot in the head.
Yeah,
I thought he got shot
too.
in
so
the head.
when I see him in the house, I'm like, you ain't dead yet? Like, nigga, like, come on, fam. What you gotta live for?
How many times are you almost gonna die?
Right?
You got knocked out. You got thrown in the water. You got shot in what looked like the head and an arrow in the leg. When he got up from the chair, even though he was hobbling because he has a bum leg now.
Right? I'm like, bruh, like, come
Tommy
on now.
Don't die.
Like, what you trying to prove?
I'm out here with 9 lives, boy. Like, literally.
Look, Tommy don't die.
All right, so question from Alan Prestart in the Reddit. He asked us this question in the Reddit, in our Dating Gaming Reddit. Multiple questions, actually, and we can just kind of like gloss, talk about them, but just gloss over them real quick since we at the end. Favorite weapon, least favorite weapon, favorite overall character. Well, we're gonna go first one. Favorite weapon.
Machete.
Yours?
I'm sorry.
Mine was a shotgun.
Look, I'm just gonna say machete out the gate because that's what they're gonna expect me to say. Shotgun. But you know what? For me,
shotgun.
You said shotgun. I'm have to say, you know what? It's a tie between the flame shotgun and the flamethrower. Because that was fun to play the flamethrower. But I think it's the incendiary shotgun. So yeah.
Abby's shotgun was the best. Like,
yeah.
Especially when you
it was a good one.
And people sneaking around, man, I will equip my shotgun so quick when they get super close. And I just aim right for the head. Boom! Just, oh man, shotgun was my favorite weapon. Shotgun.
I think it was whatever assault rifle she had. Because once I put that on burst, I was like, oh, we don't have to single shot this anymore. 3 shots and a clicker is dead. All right. All right.
Yeah.
I was good with that. I know that if there's anyone from my chat, they're expecting me to say the pipe because the pipe was my favorite in the first game. But I feel like they dwindled down the pipe in this one because in the first game, the pipe has like 8 hits and in my opinion, it is the best melee weapon out of all of them because it lasts the longest. And I feel like they dwindled it down for this one. So I can't give it my 5 stars like I did in the first game.
So what's your least favorite weapon?
Probably just a regular handgun. Because I used it the least.
Yeah, I used the regular handgun the least. That was kind of like what I used when I ran out of bullets everywhere.
Right. That was like the last resort.
The one I can put the silencer on was cool, but the 6-shooter, the one that Ellie had, I didn't like that one. That was my least favorite.
The revolver, yeah.
Because it take the longest to reload, and it only has 6 shots. So I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah, the one with the silencer was okay in clutch moments if you wanted to get some quick kills. But I would say, the revolver really, those two, but the revolver, it didn't have really any purpose. My least
favorite. All right, favorite overall character.
I don't know.
I feel like I'm gonna have to say you know what? I was gonna say Ellie, but I honestly think it's gonna be Yara because at the end of the day, Yara was probably the most selfless character in the entire game. Like, she literally gave her life for her brother and her brother's safety. She got her arm chopped off, still took it upon herself to travel to go save her brother when her brother went to go save their mother. And still, she could, if you really want to think about it, she could have just played dead and I'm sure everybody would have left and she could have like got up and moved or something. She really sacrificed everything that she had to sacrifice for her brother's safety. And I think the only character who's done anything like that is Joel. But I think the difference is her sacrifice was very selfless, whereas Joel's was kind of selfish.
I'd have to say, at first, it would have probably been Abby because of just the fun factor. But as a character standpoint, as the full game went on, I'd have to say Lev. And only because Lev is a character that shows only endless possibilities with development, but he went through literally everything was taken away. But the key point that really made me really say Lev is like so probably one of the strongest characters is that moment when, you know, Abby's about to kill Dina and Lev is the voice of reason, and he stops Abby from doing it. Because in that moment, somebody who's lost everything, who has nothing left, still has the pure and the kind heartedness to say, hey, this is not the way to go. This is not the way to do it. Like, let's be better. Like, I mean, and all, you know, forms of factors, Lev could have been like, fuck everything. I lost everything. I'm going on a rampage. But he kept everything together. And being so young and being through all that stuff, he still kept everything together and was sort of like that control, that balance that Abby needed later in the game. And I really appreciate how they you know took that character. So I'd have to say Lev, because now I want to see more of what Lev is going to do. Hopefully we get more of Lev, because I think there's a lot of legs with that character.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. Literally, like, Lev has every reason to hate everybody.
Right, but never showed it. Never showed an ounce of hate or anger or anything. So,
like, at the end of the day, he didn't have to save Abby. He really didn't. And he did on more than one occasion.
Yep.
I think, I'm gonna agree with Granddad. I think Lev is probably my favorite too. It's and that's, you know, I'm like, damn, a new character end up being, you know, one of my favorites. And we still, like you said, we still get to see possibility of seeing more of Lev, possibly in future Last of Us releases, so or DLCs or whatever. But yeah, I like Lev. I mean, Lev was cool. He was a nice little helper at times and everything while I was Abby. So I thought that was dope. But yeah, what's y'all least favorite character?
I feel like people are going to judge me for this, but I've said it in my own stream. I was never really a big fan of Dina. She just wasn't my favorite. And my reasoning, at first I thought she was just kind of like really messy with how she handled stuff. Like, she just broke up with Jesse. Now she's making out with Ellie in front of everybody at the party. And when we get to that end and we get that Ellie and Joel had a final conversation, because the way that it started out, it really kind of looked like Ellie and Joel had this falling out because of whatever happened at that party, and Joel stepped in and did too much. And I was like, well, see, all this drama wouldn't have started without Dina. So I kind of started out with like, Dina's messy, and then she was pregnant and she came on the thing, and I'm like, why did you come? Like just like, you're just making the situation messier than it needed to be. And I don't know, I felt like she was kind of dismissive in how she handled Ellie in the little future section, with her, how she handled her panic attack, and how she just kind of like rushed to the, oh, we're done with this. And I was like, I know that, and people were like, yeah, like, Dina's lost stuff, like, she's lost people, but you can tell from the beginning she's the more inexperienced one when it comes to what the world really has to offer. And I could kind of tell that when Ellie was telling her what she's been through and who she's killed and what she's experienced and all that kind of stuff, and she's just like, wow, like, I've never had to deal with any of this. I don't think she was ever really going to understand where Tommy and Ellie came from. So I don't know. From the beginning of the game, I just really was not a big Dina fan.
Yeah, I have to say it's a tie between Dina and Owen.
Owen is
for me.
Oh, yeah, Owen was trash.
I'm leaning towards. Only reason why I'm saying Dina, because Dina was such a trash AI partner. Like, literally, she got me killed so many times.
Inexperienced.
She never did a goddamn thing. She don't need to be in the field then. She don't need to be in the field then if she ain't got the experience. Like,
and she knew something was up before she left. It was like, if you're pregnant, why are you coming on this trip? Right. You're just holding me down.
Holding us back. Like, Dina could. Dina could never. She could never do what Joel could do, anybody, not even Lev. Not the worst part ever.
Yara with one arm did more.
Yara with one arm had the blicky ready. Was get killed Isaac with one arm. Went out like a G. Dina couldn't do nothing. But I'd have to say overall, Owen, because his character is just so fuckboy and fucker. Like first of all,
the
relationship he had, he was stringing Abby along the whole time. You know, he knew Abby had feelings, and he was like, okay, I don't know what happened with their relationship, but even after that relationship, he still was like doing these things to kind of make Abby like still think that, you know, he was into her. And then he gets Mel pregnant, tells Abby about it, knowing Abby gonna be mad about it, and then still goes and tries to and eventually smashes Abby.
But then it's still, because after that whole encounter with Mel and Abby, where Mel's like, "You're so full of shit," and this, and this, that.
Right. That too, yep.
And Abby goes and talks to Owen. Owen's still trying to get Abby to come to Santa Barbara. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Exactly.
Stop trying to have
I'm like, how you gonna...
girlfriend and your side piece. That's why I wanted to know why they broke up. I'm mad we never figured out why.
I think it was just Owen's character. I think Abby saw probably Owen was going around doing some things on the side she didn't want to have, but she still had feelings, but she was like, no, I can't be a part. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. But it's clear to see that Owen is not a good person. He's selfish. He's a fuckboy. And now, like, I didn't care when he died. I didn't care when Owen died. I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like, Owen's dead. Okay. Boo-hoo. But the fact that he like you said, he literally tried to have Abby run away with him. Still had a whole ass baby mama.
No, he was gonna have Abby run away with him and Mel. They were just all gonna what?
Right. I know. That's what I'm saying.
Home. Right. I half wanted Abby to be pregnant though. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted her.
Oh, that would have been messy.
I wanted it to. I thought that's where the story was trying to go.
I know Owen would have shut up the club too. He would have did it. He probably did.
I feel like they tried to gear it up to them breaking up over Abby's obsession with finding Joel, because there's so many times where it's like Owen was just like just kind of,
he doesn't care.
It was like, we're over it. And she's like, and of course, everybody wanted him dead, but you kind of see when Abby's story starts, like everyone's like, except for maybe Manny, everyone's collectively like shattered over what happened. Mel is distraught over it. Owen is distraught over it. But everyone except for Abby. And I feel like they tried to at least allude to like maybe it was that obsession that broke them up, and I don't know, but no, Owen was not a good dude. He just wasn't.
Favorite overall moment in the game that you can
the whole Scar Island, being on Scar Island with Abby 11, everything being on fire, just the visuals, the action, everything like that. I think that section of the game, because I don't have a favorite moment that I can just pinpoint, but that section was the most enjoyable section. I thought that was the dopest part because of everything was just on point with that part. But if I think of a singular, I'll just leave it at that. I'm gonna say that.
I think my favorite moment was the moment I brought up earlier about me being at the workbench and even though
that got me mad. I felt away.
Even though that was like, oh shit, but it was kind of like oh man, we're really in this, and there's like 4 people and I had to kill them. So like the fact that I'm at a calm moment, I'm going through my weapons, and then I hear I'm like, oh shit, we really out here fighting while I'm relaxing. Like, so that was like, that particular moment was like, oh shit, like we're really out here. So that's a favorite moment I can think of right there in the game that just took me completely off guard, and I loved it. Even though I hated it, but I loved it at the same time. I was like, yo, that shit was like, once I got done, I was like, yo, that shit was tight. That was tight.
Yeah.
I think mine probably would have to be when Joel and Ellie were in the spaceship for Ellie's birthday. Because I was still sad. Like, I was still upset over Joel being dead. That was our first moment of having a flashback and like Joel being alive. First of all, Ellie learned how to swim. Thank God. Because I was like, we can't do these wood planks anymore. Like, these are things that we can't do. Right. But that was just I felt like with how we had left Joel the last time we saw him, first of all, I wasn't expecting these. And second of all, I just felt like it was overall just like a beautiful moment. And it really like warmed my heart and it made me want to cry. I successfully did not cry on stream, but That game tried me on more than one occasion. It really tried my emotions, and I didn't appreciate that. But
I know, because
we didn't actually cry.
We've been on such a crazy ride with Ellie and Joel in the first Last of Us, so it's just like just to see how Ellie has grown up and stuff, and because it's years later and stuff. So yeah, it's like you mentioned that, Majestic. It's like, man, I think I even said it in one of y'all streams. Like, man, we've seen Ellie just grow up, and we just seen all that. We've been on such a crazy ride with them these, in these last 2 games, man. It's just crazy how everything is just coming together or coming full circle or whatever. Ain't no telling what's gonna happen in the future Last of Us games. That's crazy. Did the jump scares get you? Y'all have any?
Yeah. One a couple got me, because I'm trying to think. No, the workbench part got me. It wasn't even a jump scare, but it just caught me off guard. But I think I'm trying to think. I think it was the first time. Was it the first time the stalkers came around, because they were they were like hiding around, right? Because you can hear them. Yeah. And then I think
but you couldn't. You could hear them, but you couldn't
see them. You couldn't hear them. And then like I literally turned like my camera, and it was right there, and like lunging at me. So that was one I remember. But it was probably a couple ones.
There were
stalkers were more. Yeah.
There were a couple jump scares that got me. There was one. A lot of people like to clip the times that jump scares got me. So there was definitely the first time you get shot in the arrow by the scars got me, because I'm just walking through the woods, and it was a cutscene, so it wasn't even like a fight or anything. And I just got shot and I jumped. There was one point I walked into a bathroom. I think I paused the game and started talking to the chat. I was like, all right, we're gonna get back to the game. I look back. There's a zombie there. The stalkers that came out of the wall, those got me. Those were terrifying, because I think there was only like 1 or 2 that I could actually see them in the wall, but for the most part, I couldn't see them. And that was hard.
Okay, one scene that I ain't gonna lie that made me jump was I was Abby, and when she was going after Owen, so you kept going through all the buildings and all that little stuff or whatever, and you know how when you slide through the tight part of the wall and the camera kind of tilts or whatever, I'm going, and the previous other times nothing ever came out, so I'm going and the fucking clicker came right out like, I was like, oh shit. I was like, damn.
I remember that part. Yeah.
Well, that shit kind of made me. I was playing. I'm like, that shit made me jump. I can't even front. Yeah, that part made me jump, because, like I said, how the camera angle goes, and it's like, okay, you quiet, you going through the building, and then the damn clicker come out. So yeah, that shit made me jump. So that's a jump. That's a jump scare right there. That's the only jump scare in the game. Actually, everything else is pretty cool for me, but except for that moment. Did anything make you really laugh or shed a tear?
All right, I laughed at this part, y'all, but I shouldn't have laughed. And Diogo go, you know what I'm talking about. So the part where you with Abby, right, and she's afraid of heights, right, and you with Lev, you gotta cross the bridge,
and then you fall.
And then no. Here's what happened. So I was playing, right, and I was just like, okay, I remember she was afraid of heights. So Diogo was like, look at her face. So I thought he told me to look at the face, and when I saw her facial expressions, I just busted out laughing, because like the fear in her face was so like apparent. I just started dying laughing, and everybody was like, "You wrong for laughing, Granddad. That ain't right." She like, because it wasn't supposed to be a moment, but that was probably the moment where I laughed the most. Like I was cracking up because of just like how you could see the amount of fear in her face. And then I did actually end up falling, and when she fell, I laughed too, and yeah, so I should have probably laughed at that point, but like if you watch the clip, I'm pretty sure it got clipped. And then also, no part made me shed a tear. I felt, but I no tears were shed. But anything else was funny. And then other than that was when Abby and Owen smashed, because it was so ridiculous. That made me laugh too. I had nothing to do but laugh, because it was so awkward. But other than that was it.
I laughed a little bit at that. I feel like, of course, like the Joel dying really almost made me cry. And then the first time we see Joel come back almost made me cry. I don't know anything that actually like made me laugh. It probably, if I had to say anything, it would have been the scene where like the sex scene, because it was so ridiculous and I wasn't expecting it. So I want to say that probably almost made me laugh. I think I did laugh, but I think it was more like my reaction that made me laugh than the actual scene.
The only thing that made me, besides Lev getting his lights punched out.
Oh,
I forgot about that. That was funny.
Knockout.
Okay,
yeah.
that was funny. That did make me laugh a little bit.
Right.
What made me laugh throughout this whole game, and I did this shit, this because I'm just goofy as hell. Every time when I choke somebody out, I pivot the camera angle, and the look of their faces, I don't know why that shit cracks me up. Rather if it's Ellie or Abby, when they make them grunting faces as they choking somebody out, I don't know why that shit fucking tickles me. But every time when I stealth kill someone, I always pan the camera over to look at their faces.
I started doing towards the end. I started doing that when I noticed that they actually made faces.
That shit,
I don't think I noticed it at the beginning.
I'm telling you, the face physics in this game are hilarious. Like literally, like that's why I busted out laughing when she was on the bridge, because like the fear was so legitimate in them physics. I couldn't help but laugh. It wasn't right, but I did it.
Man,
there was something else. I killed somebody and it made me laugh, but I can't remember what it was, because somebody like labeled the clip like Majestic laughs at like death and destruction, but I can't remember what it was. But it was something about killing some character that made me laugh.
Yeah, man. That shit. Yeah, the faces was funny. Nothing made me shed no tear. I mean, it's a game. I'm really more indulged into the story more than anything, but nothing made me just be like, oh man, like, you know. But okay, so any moment that made you say WTF? I mean, I didn't have any moments that made me say well, when we saw the Rat King.
Yeah, no.
When I was in the bus, and when I finally found the operating utensils that we need to cut old girl arm off, and I'm like, what's that noise? I'm like, oh man, we about to fight some clickers or whatever. And when that shit came out, I was like, oh, what the fuck? I said what the fuck as I was. Man, I hate that I didn't. I was so scared that people was gonna spoil this that I didn't stream this game, because it was definitely a lot of funny moments that y'all could have got from me playing this game. But yeah, when I saw that damn Rat King, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, oh man, they wrong as fuck for this shit, man. So yeah, that was a what the fuck moment when I saw that Rat King. Definitely. I think that's probably everybody's what the fuck moment in here.
Right.
My eyes were huge, like my jaw dropped, because I could you could feel it. Something was coming. Yeah. And it was like, you knew it was something big. You didn't know was it a swarm of clickers? Like what was, when I saw that thing was ugly. Man. It was disgusting to look at. Like, I don't know who had a lot of fun animating that thing, but it was ugly.
Yeah.
And scared the living daylights out of me. When they told me in the chat that I was gonna have to fight it, I was like, I have to what? And then when it would run through the walls, I was like, okay, I'm running away. I'm gonna run through this door and then run around, and then he would run through the walls. I was like, oh, so we just making our own doors? Like,
right.
I was like, man, that shit was cool though, man. That was a cool ass fight scene.
Yeah.
But I did have that was a what the fuck. I was like, oh man, what the fuck? Like, I was shocked at first, like, what the fuck? Oh man, this shit crazy. But then when we started running, I'm like, oh man, we about to fight this. I said, oh, let's go. I have bullets and weapons and shit ready. So yeah, but yeah, that definitely was a WTF moment for me.
Mm-hmm. And there was no stopping. There was no crafting. You could barely even pick up stuff while you ran. It was just go till it was dead.
Get away from that motherfucker as far away as you can. So yeah, that's my only what the fuck moment. What about you, Granddad? Was that the same?
Yeah, Rat King. I mean, I guess you could say when Joel died, because you didn't expect it, so you was like, yo, oh yeah, that too. Trying to think, is anything else? Oh yeah, but that's pretty much it. The Rat King is number one though, because like honestly, you don't expect, because like you got the enemies and whatnot, but do expect like a legitimate like boss fight like that.
I would say Abby and Owen's sex scene was a what the fuck moment for me too.
Yeah, it was.
In a different way. Yeah, in a different way. Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of like, what the fuck? Are we really doing this? Like, for real? Yeah. That's funny. Okay, so another question. Did you hate Abby at first and then liked her, or do you still dislike Abby?
I mean, I hated
her. I think we talked about it kind of.
Yeah, we talked about it.
I still dislike her. I just dislike her less than I did when I first started. I'm still just kind of like, I don't like you because I like Joel more, but I understand you, and I don't hate your guts, and I won't purposefully kill you anymore. But like, I don't want to say that I liked her, but I don't want to say that I wanted her to have the torture that she clearly had.
Gotcha.
I just didn't want to play with her anymore.
Did you feel like the game was too long, or was it good? Did y'all feel like it was a good length?
I think it was a good length. I did have that moment where you remember you were saying, "Oh, when is this game going to end?" So,
but I didn't mean it in a bad way though.
Yeah, me either. So I didn't get that until we hit the house with Dina and the kid, and then I saw the flashback happen. I mean, the PTSD moment happened. I was like, "Oh, we got more game to go." I was like, "Okay, this game got some more to it." So that's when I was like, I didn't feel like it was too long. I felt like it, but I felt like if it would have went any longer than it did, it would have definitely overstayed its welcome. So they stopped it right at the right point where I would have probably felt like, okay, this game is getting way too long now. So
I would have been okay if it was a little bit longer, but only in the areas where it could have expanded the scars a little bit and expanded the rattlers. Like, I felt like those were two enemies that were just kind of like randomly thrown in there, and we don't know much about them. Like the rattlers, like, were they pretending to be firefly? We have to assume they were probably pretending to be fireflies or something like that. But that's the only place where I'm like, it could have been longer, but not even like substantially longer, just like story wise, like explain to us who these people are. Like, why are the rattlers kidnapping people, and then why are they tying them up on a beach? Like that was just kind of, that's where I was kind of like, that's where I feel like it was rushed, and it was kind of like randomly thrown together. But I still liked it. I still liked the game. That's just where I would have appreciated a little more information.
Yeah, I got you. I don't mind the length of the game either, because I mean the first one was pretty long. I mean the first one was long too. So I mean I wouldn't trip. I was going into this game, I expected it to be pretty long. So like the length of the game didn't bother me per se. I was like, man, shit, we still got more game. I said, man, because at the time I'm thinking like, oh, we getting our $60 worth and some. So
I definitely feel like we did.
Yeah. I definitely didn't mind the length of the game. I think we talked about this kind of already. Did you like the ending? You asked, did you like the ending?
Yeah. I think they left it up to I like that it's left up to different people's perspectives and interpretations, because I even read a whole other perspective about what someone else thinks the ending means, not even just with like Ellie and Joel, but with Ellie and Dina. And I mean, a big part of it, and I feel like they did this on purpose, after we do those like Seattle day 1 through 3, Abby and Ellie, we don't know how time goes by. There's just chunks of time that's going by that we don't even think about. And we don't know what's happening in between that time. And I think it's left that way for viewers to kind of pick up on something like, well, I think this happened during this time, or I think this happened during this time. And I think that was just done on purpose. And I kind of like that.
And then the last question you asked, he said, there are no story DLC plans. So would you want a sequel, or should they leave it alone after this game?
It's too much. It's too much for them. They need it. We're gonna need a 3. We're gonna need, because they left too many open-ended questions with Abby and Lev, with Ellie, with Dina, with Tommy. There's so many. We got to know what happened with all these characters and what's gonna happen, because there's no finality at all at the end of this game.
I'd be cool. And you know what? I'd be cool if the third one is the final one. Like, I'd be cool if Last of Us Part 3 for PS5, Naughty Dog, if you're listening, for PS5. I'll be cool if Last of Us 3 will be the final one. Like, that'll give us the final close.
I think they will.
I think there was more finality between. I think there was more finality in 1 than there was in this one. Like 1 really could have ended where it ended and just leave it at they begin their new life in a settlement. But this one, I agree. It's like there's so many loose ends. Even if it's just a whole game about Lev, like there's a lot of there's a lot of places where they can expand a story and go. And it doesn't even necessarily have to deal with these characters. It could be a whole other person who's, you know, immune and them trying to deal with it. But it's in kind of like what The Walking Dead did with Fear of the Walking Dead. Like you could do something similar to that. It doesn't even have to be about these characters or people bumping into these characters. It's just there's a lot of space to have a third one.
Yeah. I agree.
Especially with the level of success the game has had, they're gonna make a third one. I mean, the game's printing money now, so and of course it's gonna look amazing on the PS5 because that's what they're gonna put it on. And that's what I'm looking forward to is how visually, not only visually how the game is gonna look, because I know it's gonna look amazing, but I have with how they crafted the story in 1 and how they crafted the story in 2, I have no reason to be worried about how much time and effort and detail they're gonna put into the next story, because they've proven themselves in this game that they're really, you know, meticulously making sure everything as much as possible. Yes, there are some little things here and there, but as much as possible is tight knit. So now we're gonna see where these characters go. I believe if they do a 3, we will pick up with Abby and Lev. I think Ellie will play a role in the game, but she'll be sort of like you looking at it from an outside perspective, she'll make, you know, cameos, or you'll cross with her. I don't think they're gonna give us Ellie.
She's been so like,
but I don't think they're gonna give us Ellie, or if they do, because then like they have to either give us one character or they have to give us like a set of 2. But I think giving us Ellie, and Ellie's on her own, it would just have to be all Ellie here her entire time. The entire
time. It wouldn't be
fingers going and shit.
It wouldn't be spread out. So I think they have to kind of cut ties, just like they did with Joel in this game. They have to cut ties with Ellie. Now, I'm not saying they're gonna kill her off, but they're gonna have to kind of like, you know, Ellie's now this wanderer for what we know. So who's to say?
You know, her fingers going and shit now, so she probably can't fight.
Right. So what I'm thinking is maybe Abby and Lev try to go find the Santa Barbara settlement, the other Firefly settlement or island, and then Ellie's like, Lord, I'm gonna see if this cure thing is a real thing. I'm gonna go try to find Abby one more time and, you know, make amends, or see if this thing is actually real and I can, you know, make a cure. I don't know. It's a lot of things you can do with it, but I think we are gonna get more Abby and Lev for sure.
Yeah, I think that would be good because I think people are invested in Lev and would want to see how Lev develops. I think a big part of, like, because I didn't play the whole thing when it first came out, I don't know what people thought and how people felt to the DLC in comparison to the regular game, or even just like Ellie's mission. But I feel like this whole thing happened partially because, you know, we got that small little glimpse of playing as Ellie in the first game, and it was great because it had that comparison. And I feel like they really wanted to make that an integral part of this game, to be like, look, there's a difference between these two characters. There's a size difference, there's a strength difference, but they have their own advantages as individuals. So let's kind of take that and make a whole game based off of that, having 2 different characters with 2 different physical strengths and builds to kind of show what it's like to play as a really like small thin character and then a really swole character.
Yeah, so we'll see what they do. I mean, it's gonna be a few years, hopefully. Actually, you know what, I don't even care about the time frame. Like let them take as much time as they need if they're gonna do it. Because the more time they put into it, the better result it'll be. So
another 7 years.
I mean, I can. Damn, that's a while. But yeah,
it's been 7 years from last.
Yeah. It'll fly by, and I'm pretty sure Naughty Dog is gonna be, you know, doing other stuff. But yeah, like if it takes another 7 years, if the end result is just as good as the first 2, can't be mad at it.
All right, well, I guess look, we've been. This was fun, man. I know we definitely talk about this game. We've been fiending for Last of Us 2. We got it and we experienced it. I'm glad we all beat it kind of like around the same time.
Me too.
Yeah.
Where it didn't like, you know, we didn't forget stuff or whatever like that. So I'm just look, appreciate everybody in the chat too that's been chatting and talking and everything, man. I'm seeing everybody up here. Shout out to all y'all. Glad we was able to glad we was able to do this for you guys, man. This was fun talking about this game, man. This is, you know, now we got more games we're gonna play. What games y'all gonna play before we get out here? What games y'all gonna play next after this? Since we done with anything you playing, Majestic, or anything game you looking forward to playing?
I might replay Ellie Noir. I played that. It's funny. I played that for the original PS3. I actually played it with my family because we would kind of just do it together and like take the notes and pay attention and all that jazz. So I think I'm gonna play that and actually beat it because I didn't beat that as a kid. And I have Life is Strange 2. So I'll probably try to figure out of those two games which one I'm gonna play.
Ghost of Tsushima is for me. That's the next big one. I finished, people that's watching. I texted folks in the chat that I finished the first BioShock, and I think I
finished it.
I finished the first BioShock. Yeah, I finished it this morning. I played it this morning and finished it. So I asked the chat in Discord, should I go to Infinite or play Part 2? And everybody was saying play Infinite. So can I stream Infinite? I mean, if I couldn't stream BioShock. It's I don't know why, something that they got where you can't stream it. But can I stream Infinite? If I can.
They wouldn't let you stream straight from PlayStation?
Nope.
Nah, it'll block it.
Yeah, so if I can do Infinite straight through PlayStation, I'll stream Infinite while I'm playing that.
That's trash because BioShock is so good. The ending of BioShock is so good. And then when you play Infinite, then you have to play the DLCs that go with Infinite, and it's just it goes together really well so when you're done, go, even if you can't stream it, go right into the DLCs because there's 2 for Infinite, and we'll talk when you
don't play Part 2. Don't play BioShock 2.
I like BioShock 2. It's more, I think, as far as like how the whole story plays together, BioShock 2 doesn't necessarily fit in there. But it's interesting because you can feel how they ironed out the mechanics of BioShock 1. Even when you run less like right left with your camera, and it's more smooth. And then you get to play as a big daddy. So that's actually kind of interesting. That it's a whole different dynamic. So I like BioShock 2. But as far as how the stories kind of go together, Infinite and BioShock 1 go together really well.
What games you about to play next? Any big?
So I got
you gonna play Ghost?
Yeah, of course. I got Ghost. That's next. So Ghost of Tsushima is next. I'm gonna be playing that on the Twitch channel using a new PC that just came. My new PC is here, y'all. It's amazing.
Okay.
Yay!
I'm gonna unbox it on Monday on stream, but it's sitting. I'm looking at the box right now. It's huge. The thing is big, but it's a monster.
Did you build it or like did you buy it?
I know I got it built. So for me, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you know. And then I'm also gonna do this too because it comes out the same day, and because you know I need something new for the Switch. I'm gonna get the new Paper Mario joint, the Origami King, because like I used to mess with Paper Mario back in it. It's been a minute since I played a Paper Mario game, so I'm gonna get that. And then I got a gang of other games I just need to start playing. So I'm gonna try to get through to Rise of Tomb Raider because that's the only one I haven't played out of the new Tomb Raider games, and I just got that. And that's pretty much it I can think off the top. But yeah, mostly gonna be Ghosts that I'm gonna be focusing on.
All right, well, cool. Yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for today. Majestic, thank you for coming along because it was just gonna be me and Granddad talking on this. So me Mother 11 suggested that we, holler at you. So yeah, I was like, well, she beat it now. So
I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for asking me.
Yeah, hit you up. I'm like, cool. It's always great when we have some more personalities and different perspectives of the game and stuff. And like I said, in my mind, I was like, hell yeah, because I'm thinking you literally just played for the first time, the first one, like you just went through the whole damn story. So I'm like, oh yeah, we got to get Majestic on. We got to get her on. So
I really think beating the first one and going right into the second one just made it like, I was like, but wait, like I literally just played as Joel.
Your emotions is right. I remember me and Granddad can tell you, man, the emotions for the first one. God damn, man. And then you literally jumped right into the second one. So you didn't have time to really breathe like me and
Greg. You ain't had that 7 year of reflection.
Nope. I beat it last year. I was looking at my game file. Like I finished it March of last year. And I don't think I jumped nearly as much as I did playing it on stream. But when I played it on stream, I played it on hard, and that was a mistake. because it angered me to open drawers and there was nothing in there. And I was like, I know if I was playing on regular, there would be some stuff in here. Yeah. But no, like I think I told you guys at the beginning, I think I finished the first one like that Tuesday, and then the second one came out on Thursday. Like, oh Lord.
That's crazy. All right, man. Well, appreciate everybody in the chat and everything, and we'll catch y'all out later. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.